welcome to the Founder Fumbles podcast, where we talk about real struggles from real entrepreneurs and comeback strategies. My name is Dahmari Taplin, and this is my boy Caleb.
All right, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me, Dahmari.
For sure.
Let's do this.
So just so they know, my boy Caleb is the CEO of Walletgyde, AI enthusiast, financial storyteller, advocate for fintech and financial literacy. He's an Access Mode Accelerator alumni, Rocky's Venture Capital, Hyper Accelerator alumni, now helping the world become financial dependent using AI.
Absolutely.
Here we go.
Man, thanks for having me, man. Yeah, this is exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
Love what you're doing, man. So,
I'm trying, bro. I heard you got your own podcast too.
You know, I'll be out here trying to talk to a mic, and honestly, storytelling is just something that I've always been interested in. I didn't even see it as a business model, or even know that it was going to be like a way to tell the Walletgyde story, but I just did it, and here we are. Yeah.
Right.
So
what's going on with Walletgyde?
Oh man, what's going? I mean, you see what's going on. Look, there's a lot of exciting developments with Walletgyde. I would say, starting off, first of all, it's crazy. We're already in Q2, right? We're already literally about to close Q2 for June.
Yeah.
And so, I don't want to spill the beans too much, but we have some exciting things going on in the AI agent space.
Give me.
Okay. Fine. All right. So you know how ChatGPT is doing this thing, and all the other LLMs when it comes to AI. And I'm sure we're going to get into this, but one of the cool things that I've been really diving into with Walletgyde is wanting to have my own personal finance LLM. So, ChatGPT.
Wait. LLM. What's the LLM?
Large language model. Excuse me.
No, you're good.
For the audience, LLM, large language model.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try not to be too technical out here, but so ChatGPT is great and all, but it's very, very general. And if anything, that's what I'm starting to realize about these chatbots. They're very general, and they give you general answers. Now, if you're trying to get very specific answers and questions about your personal finance, things of that nature, first of all, they don't have access to your financial banking information, which to certain people that could be a good thing. To others like me that actually wants curated personal finance information, probably not so good. So what we're in the process of doing is actually building out an agent, aka Walletgyde AI, to allow consumers to be able to connect their banking information, their APIs, to an LLM, to a chatbot that can now start curating a lot of their financial data. Much more precise than a ChatGPT or Gemini.
I just downloaded this app maybe 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Where I plug in all my bank account information, all my investments, and it's telling me where I'm spending too much at. You spend too much at not the liquor store, but just the example. You spend too much at the liquor store.
For sure.
You bought too much wine. You know what I mean? Or you spent this much on gas. This much slow down on the driving. You know what I mean? So is yours gonna be something like that? Or
so, by the way, what's the name of the app?
It's something with a C.
I don't know if it's personal capital or.
I'll tell you afterwards.
Yeah, for sure.
With a C, and it's
Chime. It's probably Chime, but nevertheless,
it's a new one. It's
a new one. Yeah, there's a lot, and that's the thing. Being in the fintech space, I've really studied this industry and this space of personal finance and budgeting apps. There's a lot of them out there. And they do a good job of being able to pull your banking information into an app and curate that information in a way that your bank can't. So that's what gives them this value proposition that's better than going to your bank account, right? But at the same time, they're still lagging in a lot of things, whether it's
accuracy.
100%, right?
Because this thing don't even tell me it's telling me that I still owe this much on my credit card, and I'm my credit card's paid off. What you talking about? I paid it. It's zero.
Yeah. And so right there, so accuracy is key, and even categorization. So there's accuracy, there's categorization, and there's even just that personability, if that's a word, that I think is just going to be super important that we are trying to do with Walletgyde in addition to the AI. So imagine being able to have, your APIs, your financial information being pulled into an application, like a budgeting app. And then once we are able to show you what's going on, in terms of showing your visuals and charts and all those things and other key principles that we're going to be able to provide, then now also taking it a step further and then, include in a chat experience, almost like a chat GPT like experience, where now not only do you have the ability to see what's going on with your finance, but then you can talk to it.
Right.
So that's where I say we start differentiating ourselves with like your personal capital, your ChatGPT or ChatGPT too, but more fintech companies like Personal Capital, Mint, even though they don't even really exist anymore.
I don't even like Mint,
Yeah, they're not as accurate, but we intend to provide a lot more accuracy, because this chatbot will have your real-time data. So yeah.
So let me get a timeline, Like, I want to use this.
Yeah.
I need this. Let me know when I can start using this.
Look, like I said,
I've been waiting, bro.
I know.
And I'm gonna hold you accountable, just so you know.
Absolutely. Well, Q1 for this year, 2025, it's funny. I was looking into, like, as the year was closing out in 2024, I was looking into 2025. I was like, man, like, how could Walletgyde look like, right, in 2025? And we did have some really big plans for Q1, to launch some really exciting product features. Unfortunately, and this is the fumbles, right? We're in the entrepreneurship fumbles and mistakes and challenges, right? Founder Fumbles, right? So one of our unfortunate challenges was we ran into a situation that one of our key devs that was handling our marketplace platform, because so Walletgyde is it's literally divided in terms of product features into two key features. One is our marketplace platform, which helps people young professionals get connected to financial coaches. And then we have our AI feature that we're just now recently releasing. So in Q1, we were focused to get that marketplace platform released to where, individuals can just connect to a financial coach if they have any questions.
Right.
But as I mentioned, we had some, hiccups, challenges. One of our main dev lead, he got sick for like a month, and a whole month is a long time.
He got sick doing some other work.
I guess he got sick for a month.
Right.
And then we had to get another new guy on board. So we had to go through those typical things, unfortunately. So Q1, unfortunately, we couldn't hit one of our key milestones that we wanted to hit. So if you want to talk about like a founder's challenge for this year, but then Q2, I'm telling you, we now, matter of fact, in our dev team, or might I say, like, we do run with, they're not senior developers, I'll just leave it at that, but nevertheless, they're master students and people that in engineering, so.
So you only working with interns right now?
Right now, yes. Okay. Right now, yes. Those are, look, how should I put it? In the entrepreneurship space, you gotta be, I don't know if I want to say nimble, but you also gotta be like, what's the word? Like you almost kind of, you gotta
be like financially aware of like
smart.
How much you're spending, right?
How much you're spending and what you're capable of.
Yeah.
And I know, like right now, we're if the internship thing works, and of course, it's not going to be as fast as we want sometimes, but if that's all we can do, you got to do it. Because one thing that I've learned about this entrepreneurship game is progress. Some progress is better than no progress.
Yeah.
Right?
Just if you need it, man. Like I was having some development issues. Like
sure.
My developer charged me $1,000, $2,000.
Yeah.
And it was this one project they tried to charge me like $900 for. I found somebody to do it for like $120.
Bad.
So if you need a plug, somebody who can do things real fast and accurate, just let me know.
I got you. And I mean, that's literally part of your business, right?
Yeah.
That's your
connecting
business
you
model
with those type of people. Yeah, that's my job.
That's what you do.
So about that date though,
About the what?
About that date.
Yeah.
Let me get a date.
Q2. Closing out Q2.
Closing out Q2.
We have some exciting releases coming, so stay tuned. Like I said, one of the keys is going to be a financial agent that you can chat with, and it's going to be a lot more precise in the communication than like a chat GPT, because we're going to have more precise, I would say, APIs, financial APIs, and then come July, we want to start integrating with like, so there's a third-party banking platform called Plaid, which will give us access to your actual banking information. Nice. So, matter of fact, what's today? Friday. So next week, I actually have a call with one of the Plaid sales reps. So yeah, they've been wanting me to hop on their integrate. Well, so, and we'll probably talk about this too in future questions, but we had already done this in the past with, I would say connecting with Plaid and all these other situations, but that's when I had a completely different founding team. I actually had co-founders at one point. And so this is nothing, it's not like new to me in terms of like, connecting to our third party vendor like Plaid. However, last time I actually had my CTO do it. This time it's me.
You still, how many people's on your team now? Is it just
now? I'm the solo founder.
Just you.
So it's a whole different ballgame now, and it's interesting, man, because I look at it. When I had co-founders, there was like this thing in me that was like, bro, I can probably do this by myself. I was like, I can do this. Yeah. Like, because I'm a very, and you probably gonna, I don't know if you're gonna ask this question, but in terms of, and you know this too, as an entrepreneur, and one thing that I've really understood is like, you got to know your superpower. You got to know what you're good at, and I am pretty good at delegating. And so for me, I was like, well, look, if I could delegate, what my co-founders at the time was doing to like interns or other people that can. You don't really need senior level people doing some of this stuff, whether it's in like marketing or admin or now engineering. That's when you need perhaps a CTO. But these days now you have coding agents. Yeah. We use Devin AI. We use a lot of prompt codecs now with ChatGPT, and so we're starting to find, and that's why even our interns now, with the dev environment that we've created what you call an agentic environment. Where now
agentic, what's that?
Agentic. So
What's that?
Yeah. So an agentic environment is essentially, or just agentic, is a term that a lot of the AI industry came up with, meaning basically autonomous. So it's basically
autonomous.
No. But yeah. So it's basically when like a chatbot has the ability to perform a task for you by you just prompting it, and you're like, hey, go build this marketing campaign for me, and then it just does it, or go build this app for me, and it just does it. So, and then when you pair up an agentic system like that to an automation system, which is tools such as like N8N or Zapier, you now have an opportunity where you can automate your whole marketing workflows. And these are things that we're working on currently, as well as your whole dev environment workflows.
Right. When you start getting so deep into AI, like when I first met you, I never even heard you say AI. Now I can't even get a conversation with you without you bringing up AI, How did this happen? Who sparked this? Like, you know what I mean?
Do you? I'm about to be Morpheus right now. Do you want the red?
Don't go so deep.
I'm not going to get too deep.
Where did it start?
I was going to say, do you want the red pill or the blue pill? I mean, like really, I think maybe I haven't said this yet, but it was.
Give me the short version.
Yeah.
Who?
Well, it's hard to. The best way I can explain it is like. I've always been a nerd, like, when I was much younger, I'll say around 16, and during that timeline, and I'll try to be quick with it, but during that timeline, I definitely realized when I was 16 that I viewed the world very differently than most, and I process information very differently. I'm very I do a lot of pattern recognition type stuff, so I read a lot, and I stumbled upon this theory called the singularity theory. Most people don't know that about that theory. It's a very nerdy theory. It's a very nerdy word, right? But basically, what it is it's a hypothetical future. I mean, do you watch sci-fi movies? Mm-mm. But you've seen iRobot, right? Will Smith, right?
I've seen that.
Right, and or like Oblivion, or there's a lot of those sort of either Interstellar movies or robot movies, all those sci-fi movies.
I love those AI robot movies.
Right?
Love
so,
those.
like, those movies were made as a result of a theory called singularity theory, which is a hypothetical future where humans and robots will coexist at one point. So for me,
you think that's gonna happen?
So
for you, my bad, go ahead.
For me, but like for me, like I stumbled upon that word maybe like 7 or 8 years ago, singularity theory, and I read a little bit about it, and I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be an interesting future, because I always thought about the future. I was always someone that wanted to know about the future, and I was big in like science as well when I was younger. And I actually used to like study solar systems and astrophysics, and I even moderated a quantum physics group. So like, I know finance, and I'm doing all this stuff, but like that's why I had to say it's not it's hard to say a short answer. But as a result of all of those things, when AI started coming, like singularity was just a theory. Nobody really saw that actually happening until AI came into the scene.
Okay, I got you.
And
you're like, it's happening.
And it wasn't until I was, using AI myself, right? And then also starting to listen to a lot of AI leaders, such as Sam Altman, such as Eric Schmidt of ex-Google CEO, and then Dario, Claude, founder. And so I'm a huge learner. I love to learn, right? And so when I started listening to a lot of these people saying, hey guys, and this was around October 2024, I remember it like it was yesterday, when I was watching a lot of their stuff, and they were like, guys, in the next 2 to 3 years, reality is about to be very different. That's when for me it clicked. I was like, oh snap, AI is the thing that's going to drive singularity. Because there's a key term in AI, or in the singularity theory, that says it's a point where technology becomes uncontrollable and irreversible. You look at AI,
and that's what's happening.
AI is uncontrollable and ain't no going back. So that's when I was like, oh snap, like this ain't just like a cool tool. Right. This is a whole revolution. And so I doubled down in it, and now I can't stop talking about it. Yeah. So I know there's a long way about it, but
no, it's cool. You told me everything I need to know. Now I know why you're so deep into this AI stuff. But forget the AI.
Sure.
Financial literacy.
Oh man.
You being a financial storyteller, like, where did that come from?
Ooh, that's a good one too.
Did you struggle financially? You was like, I gotta figure out how to fix this, or were you like so well off, and you was like, I gotta teach this to people? Like, where did that come from?
You love the deep questions, huh? No, I'm here for it.
Stuff I really want to know. Like, what made you want to have a financial literacy? You're a financial storyteller. How did you get to be that? Are you even financially stable? I don't know.
Right. And sometimes you gotta like, what's the word? There's this saying that is like, sometimes out of like necessity breeds something like that. Where it's like, for me, like, how I got into the financial industry was way back. It starts way back when you're younger. Like I came to this country actually as a refugee, right? Straight from Nigeria when I was 5.
Okay.
And so like for me, like I was someone that like grew up in an experience where I was able to see and live a life and a lived experience of someone that didn't have a lot. Right, as an immigrant, right. Which is, now, don't get me wrong, fortunately I had great parents, raised me the right way, all these things. I had great siblings, raised me the right way, or, siblings, you have your thing, but like, fast forward, what it did, growing up in that lived experience, was it taught me, especially as someone I was always curious when I was young, so I just started asking a lot of questions, like, wait, like, why did we grow up like having nothing, like, compared to a lot of other people that had a lot? And then those smaller questions started scaling up to then asking like, well, why does this family live like this and that family doesn't? And then why even, and then that's where I eventually also got into, and so all those questions drove me into accounting and going to school for finance. And then from there, when I was in finance and accounting in school, that's when I started understanding that there's actually a system and like a process and an insight that allows one family versus the other, or this versus that. And then I even started scaling it up to even nations. Why is like America the number one economy, quote unquote, versus, and why does a lot of African countries struggle, right? So especially coming from that, country, the continent, and coming from Nigeria, these are things that was like bugging me, and I knew I wanted to figure it out. I didn't want to, I have my struggle, my family struggle, right, and myself. So I went on the quest of learning as much as I could about finance, went to school for business finance, studied from the greats, took that same concept of like learner, applied it to finance, started learning rules and principles and this and that and the other, and realized, first of all, when I was learning it, I started applying it to my own personal finance, and that's key, right? And once I started doing that, running my own personal finance through T accounts, income statements, balance sheets, quarterly reports. I mean, like, I turned my whole financial activity into a business. I became like the CEO of Caleb in my cash flows. And once I started doing that now, I wouldn't recommend, because it's a very rigorous thing to try to do. It takes a lot of time to do something like that. And when I did that, I can show you my notebooks. I used to like handwrite and do all these things. It was very tedious, but I was like, I just started learning so much about my cash flow, about my spending patterns, about my tendencies, about like why am I spending my money here versus there. And so I was like, first of all, if I can automate this thing for me, like this would be a life changer. And that's when the idea came up. And then from there, I was like, not only me, but this would be great for a lot of other people.
You know what I don't hear you talk about? Investing. Are you an investor?
And that's a good point, because so when I was going to school, I almost wanted to, I always was a big thinker, right? So one of my visions was to either work for the World Bank or Wall Street. And so, and I had almost some internships that almost got me to start working at Wall Street or JP Morgan. I worked at Schwab for a little bit.
Yeah, I saw that on your LinkedIn.
Right. And so that was my vision. I was like, I want to be this Wall Street broker,
Right.
But I grew up, my pops was a minister. So I grew up very religious. And, for the most part, I grew up with a lot of ethics. And then when I started breaking down the stock markets, and I'm not saying it's, how should I say this? I'm not saying it's inherently wrong or evil, but it is a organized casino. And so for me, I was like, you know what? I could build a startup to try to, spread awareness with investments, which, by the way, there's more startups in the asset management world and investments and advisory world, especially those robo-advisors, especially when I started doing it, robo-advising was like the biggest thing. And so I was like, there's already a lot of robo-advisors, and there's a whole different...
You saying robo?
Yeah, robo-advisors.
Okay, like AI advisors.
But see, this was even before AI.
Yeah.
And it was already like E-Trade and all these companies, they already had a lot of algorithmic trading and investments and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I don't even know if you're familiar with this term called high-frequency trading, HFTs, all of it. I used to be a nerd in that industry as well. But when I started breaking down the components of the personal finance space, and started learning about Wall Street versus Main Street. So Main Street is your regular consumers. It's us. It's the average Joe. Wall Street are the investors, advisors, and all those people that are creating the markets.
Mm-hmm.
I started realizing Main Street has almost no clue of what's going on in Wall Street. First of all, they don't even have a clue sometimes, for the most part, to understand your basic financial information: home ownership, cash flow management, getting out of debt. All these basic things that is super important to help with the cash flow. They don't even know that, let alone know high finance, which is asset management. So I was like, look, I want to actually tackle that problem, the Main Street problem than the Wall Street problem. Okay. And so that's what made me go the budget. Now, what's exciting is, especially now we're really diving into AI, and I think there's going to be new laws and rules around this, because soon AI is going to be...
You're going to be able to use AI to invest. And it's going to be cheating. And everybody's going to have money and they're going to try to stop it. Right?
It's going to be interesting. Yeah. And because it's like, well, how do you regulate? Like,
they're trying to do it now.
Right.
Especially with crypto.
Yeah. Because agents, like financial advisors are finna regulated. Right. So they have to get their series.
Yeah. But
doesn't AI need to get their series?
Right. So you don't invest?
I'm not building a application.
Well, do you invest? Do you have like stocks? Do you have any
crypto?
High yield? You have a high yield?
Yeah,
you gotta have a high yield.
Yeah, I'm more like basic, and quite frankly.
What about quantum computing?
What about it?
Are you investing into? I made thousands in quantum computing. Yeah.
Wait, say like
quantum computing.
Right. But like you said, you made. So you invest in like companies that do quantum computing?
Yes.
Is that what okay, yeah. I see.
QUBT.
Oh yeah, no, look, it's
Rizzy Computing, D-Wave.
D-Wave, yeah, Google bought D-Wave not too long ago, like a couple of years. They're big.
Cake, yo.
Yeah, so quantum computing. That now we're getting into sci-fi again.
We don't even gotta go ahead deep into that. But are you investing into that stuff?
So I'm not. Okay, so in terms of personal finance, like this is how I see it, and especially even like if you look at the Warren Buffetts of the world and the like. The billionaires in invested. So when it comes to like personal finance, the roadmap, like you gotta ask yourself questions of like, are you trying to invest to make money, or are you trying to invest for the long term, or to like build a legacy and to build like generational wealth? And so, right, but if you're trying to, the most ideal way is to do generational wealth. And to go like how you want to say like go do it slow and smart. Mm-hmm. That's the ideal way. Mm-hmm. And then find an actual passion of yours and something that can actually generate revenues for you, whether it's a business or a high paid profession, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're like wanting to be a stockbroker or wanting to like game the market, bro, forget it, because it ain't gonna work. Yeah. And unfortunately, and this is where like when I was in that space at one point, I found like the narrative to be like, oh well, we should do some trading or invest money in here and there. It's like, bro, honestly, like if you look at Warren Buffett and a lot of the even Ramit Sethi, Morgan Housel from The Psychology of Money, even Robert Kiyosaki with Rich Dad Poor Dad, all of these people, they say either build a business, generate assets through your business, and then as far as investments, find a Vanguard, find a like a long-term, and just forget it.
Continues to grow.
Yeah, and just forget about it. Don't try to play the stock market, because the stock market is a organized casino.
Yeah, you can't monitor it at all. So, you can monitor it. That's not what I'm going to say. You can't predict it.
Exactly.
At all.
100%.
At all.
100%. And you're going to lose money.
Yeah.
Like that, unless you have a investment vehicle that, safeguards, losses and all these things, and you're betting on the 50 plus, you let compound interest do its thing.
It's another way, man. I'm not even gonna get it out. We can talk about this off
for sure.
Like that, but it's a way that I'm investing that gets me paid.
Love it.
I get 3 paychecks a month, yo.
Love it.
On the 1st, the 15th, in the end of the month.
Through dividends or actual
It's
trade?
dividends, but it's real estate investment trusts.
REITs.
It's REITs.
Yeah. No, so you're doing it right.
And BDCs.
Okay.
And energy.
Yeah.
Love it, man. I love seeing those paychecks come in. Like, but hey, so
that's a smart way to do it too. 100%.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
You just
kind of
doesn't matter if the market goes up and down. How many shares you own. That's how many you get a certain amount of money per share, and you keep building your paychecks. So when it goes down, you just invest more. You get a bigger paycheck. It just makes so much sense to me. It's not hurting me at all.
For sure.
And but
I would say though, I'm sure you had to invest in your education about that, how that works, right?
Well, I've been investing for a long time.
Exactly.
I got into it as soon as I got into college, and nobody else was into it. But it took me over 10 years to get good at investing.
How many people would be willing to do that?
You're right.
That's the only problem. And most people want to get rich quick. So that's why it's like at that point you might as well, unless you're willing to put in that 10 years, and I'm sure there's a lot of battle scars through that process, right?
Yes.
Which most people, when it comes to money, they're just emotional. They're not willing to lose. So the best route that most people should take is like, bro, find a safe vehicle that can, give you a steady, or not even just dividends right away. Now, of course, I'm not a financial advisor, so for the audience, don't listen to what I'm saying. But, find your passions that can generate wealth for you, 6-figure plus income, find that, or entrepreneurship that can make you millions, find that. And then the money that you're making from your cash flow, find a good investment vehicle to throw it in that you can just forget by the time you're 50, 60, you got millions compounded.
Right. You're not a financial advisor yet, because I can tell, bro, you got it going. It's on the way.
I appreciate it.
It's on the way. I can tell, this is one of my questions, but I already know the answer. I can tell that you never question your purpose. Right?
Yeah.
You know, like this financial stuff, this AI stuff is what you want to do.
Absolutely. 100%.
So you never question your purpose, right? Has it been a time?
Actually, I'm not gonna sit here and like pretend like I'm some like whatever. Like I think every entrepreneur has gone through that dark night of the soul. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Where you're like, whether you're looking at your wall ceiling, you're like, bruh, why? You know what I'm saying? Or like, should I be? So it's interesting because it's like, earlier on, I had a whole co-founder. A lot of people don't know, like, prior to me being solo, had co-founders. And there was about like 3 or 4 of us. And we honestly had something similar to like, I don't know if you watched, there's a sitcom called, I forgot what it's called, but it's about startup companies, like in Silicon Valley and stuff like that.
It's called Silicon Valley.
It's probably called, yeah, that's what it is, here you go. Yeah, and like, I remember with that other team, like everything seemed so, like, it was just crazy how things were panning out. Like we were, because we had the team, we had the marketing guy, I was the idea guy, we had this other guy that was more of the implementer. And I was like, bro, and then we had a CTO. And out of nowhere, I found myself initially having this idea. If you remember, I told you I was in accounting class when I started this. And out of nowhere, I went from accounting class to be like, started meeting people, because, I network a lot. And it went, bruh, and it went from accounting class to out of nowhere I had people to out of nowhere we were pitching at Denver Startup Week around 2017. I was like, bro, this is like, it's about to be a thing. And it was happening so fast, but as that was happening, I started understanding dynamics of egos and people and this. And I don't like to get ego into I'm a very chill dude, bro. Like, for me, I always try to, you even mentioned it too, like the purpose. I'm very purpose driven. I always want to see the big picture. I always be like, look, if I can get 2% of $100 billion, I'll take the 2%. I'll just say, going through that experience of having co-founders and, things were going very well. We started getting a lot of press.
we got accepted at Denver Startup Week. We were in the process of raising capital, and I was just a vision guy. I didn't have to do much, but something deep down was like, bro, I feel like I can contribute much more. But each time, sometimes I wanted to, and that's the pros and cons of working with a couple of co-founders. Like, I'll say the cons is like, not all your ideas it's by committee, which is, I get it sometimes, but other times it's like, bro, sometimes your idea is actually super important and should probably be the one, but egos might get in the way. And so unfortunately, things like that came into play, and then when we started getting a lot of press, but didn't raise the right capital, because we actually won a partnership with Microsoft at the time. I think this is what I told you one time. Yeah,
you did.
We won a partnership with Microsoft through my CTO. He actually he had connections to Microsoft because he was a high-profile CTO. And so we did all that. We had all that set and locked in. But when we pitched at Denver Startup Week and we didn't raise the capital, I think it disheartened a lot of my co-founders. And I was like, guys, this was just like our first major one, bro. Like,
Giving up to
yeah, that's exactly it. And I was like,
have you ever felt like giving up? Because CEOs go through the most stuff, but we the ones that stick through it the longest. You know what I mean? But
Facts.
have you felt like, what was your lowest moment, and did you feel like giving up? Did you think you was going? How close did you get to giving up?
I mean, could we say 2020 post has been a lot of low points for a lot of entrepreneurs?
For sure.
So I would say, God, bro, like, it's crazy because now even when we were in access mode, like I even had a lot of low moments too, because now fortunately with access mode we had the opportunity to raise capital and we were going through the cohorts, but I would say it's kind of crazy because right before access mode I had recently went through another hyper accelerator program.
RVC?
Yeah, RVC. So if it wasn't for RVC, going through that hyper accelerator program prior to, and I think that was around 2022, 2025, 3 years, yeah.
2022.
Yeah, it was around, yes, exactly. And so like, bro, I would say between 2020 and 2021 was rough. For a lot of people, for a lot of reasons. COVID, all this stuff. And so for sure I questioned, like, bro, like,
I was working, fortunately actually, I would say one of the hardest parts, bro, was when I started getting a lot of, and this is just me, but, and even to this day on LinkedIn I get it, I was getting a lot of recruiters offering me 120K plus positions to work, and I'll pass. And so the reason why I passed constantly, even to this day, I still now get them, is because first of all, I've been a senior product manager before for a corporation, and I know the level of intensity that you got to put in that job. You don't make six figures for no reason. You put a lot of attention. I'm not saying it's not possible to do both. All I'm saying is I'm very vocal on LinkedIn. And so, matter of fact, when I was working for Schwab and I was doing Walletgyde, they found out, and they were like, "Bro, you got to choose." And I was like, "I'm gonna choose Walletgyde, 100%, more than ever. I'll always choose my what I felt like I was put on this earth to do." So like those were hard times where I was like, "Bro, like, should I just not even give up Walletgyde? Should I like maybe temporarily put it on hold?" And especially, hey, you got this internship or this other company giving you 120K, da. And bro, I don't know. And this is just me. I don't recommend other people, but there was just something in me. It was like, bro, you only got. First of all, Walletgyde I can always go back to a job. Always. I'm 35. All the skill sets that I'm gonna gain with building this thing out will even make me more marketable for a job.
Right.
I don't have kids. I ain't got no girl. I can put all my attention on this thing if I can really focus. And so for me, that was like, I was like, and I always did this thing. I was like, let's just see one more year. I'll just give myself like one more year. Let me see one more year. After this year, if I ain't like where I need to be, then I'll just be like, all right. Maybe I won't give up, but I'll probably be like, all right, job, fine, 6, corporate. And I was never a corporate guy anyhow. I mean, I can do the thing, but bro, it's so toxic. So yeah, I think for me that was, I have gone through those situations where it's like, bro, like, should I be doing this? But this is where my spirituality side comes in. I do feel like I'm like I said, I grew up pretty religious, PK, all the things, but I'm also even big in science and philosophy. And I don't know, man, like this might sound weird or whatnot, but I truly feel like I was put on this earth to do something like massive. And, for sure Walletgyde is like the beginning of it. I don't even think Walletgyde is it. Like, I love science. I love, I used to study quantum physics, bro. Not through school. I just would get these deep insights and would try to like figure it out through pattern recognition and stuff like that. And so for me, like I was like, bro, like I want to be. I used to study guys like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, all these tech entrepreneurs, and I was like, bro, I want to be in those circles. So for me, like that's the pull. Like I want to be that next. It's funny. I remember when I used to even be way more passionate about this earlier, pre-COVID. And this one dude, he used to call, he was a black dude, he was like, bro, you're the black Steve Jobs. Because I used to, bro, when I'll talk to people, I talk a lot, right? Back then I was even worse. So, like.
I mean, I think the best compliment somebody ever gave me, they called me a wizard. They're like, man, you like a wizard, bro.
I love it.
Thank you.
All right? So I don't know, man, like, entrepreneurship for sure is not for everyone.
Yeah. Definitely not.
Right? I always say I think we should have an S in our chest, because what we do, I mean, think about it, we see a problem, and by the way, like, of course, I'm still early stage, I'm not talking like somebody that's like accomplished so much.
We're world changers, yo.
Right.
We're attempting to change the world, you know what I mean? Somebody reached out to me on Facebook, was like, yo, I love entrepreneurs because the heart that y'all have, the fact that you're actually you're running directly into the world. We're trying to change it. We literally believe that we can change the world. You know what I mean? And that's what we go in at. And some people just don't believe it.
Yeah.
It's hard, bro.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, like, do you like believe in the law of attraction and stuff? But just listening to you, I know you believe in the law of attraction, bro. You believe that you was put on this earth to make a difference. You know what I mean? To change the world.
Yeah.
So with that being said, do you have like any daily routines? Like what's your daily routines, bro? Do you wake up, meditate? Do you hit the gym every Friday? Like, how do you keep your mind in shape?
I was about to ask, because you actually weren't part of the Accessible cohort, bro. I used to mess with a lot of people. Bring some
sage to work with you?
No. I just because I'd be like with Zanetta and bro, I'll be getting Kyle and the rest of the guys dying, bro, because I'd just be like, I feel so good today because I meditated and I did this.
So you meditate?
Oh yeah, bro. Like every day.
I meditate every morning. Bro.
Yeah, every morning.
6
or at least
5 a.m.
I try to. Not every time I'm always at it, but yeah, mental health is just so important.
It's crazy,
right? So I definitely, and even like religious people don't sometimes understand the importance of meditation. Right? And I can say that because I grew up in that.
People look at meditation like the wrong thing.
Yeah, they think, what are you doing? That is not of God. And I grew up pretty religious, right?
No, it is of God. God is like within you. You know what I mean? You basically just quieting your mind, letting your mind talk to you. And you're able to see like your problems, and you can 100%. Solve problems in your brain by sitting there and not doing nothing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's not all meditation. That's just one stage of meditation. You actually can bring things into your life through meditation. You know, if you do it consistently and stuff like that. But I'm not even going to get on.
Well, no, and I love the fact that you did too, because I even like this to be a dialogue, because and you can tell the people that meditate. I can tell you meditate, right? Because you always got a smile on your face. You're always positive. And like people, it's not a surprise when you can tell certain people are doing work on themselves, because that's essentially meditation, and when others aren't. And not trying to cast judgment or nothing, but like it's just meditation. It's like, how should I put it? It should be a requirement, especially in this current world, right? That we're going through. Yep. If you ain't meditating, bruh. Or at least, I get it. Or going to church, or doing your, if you don't have
that too.
Because you gotta
meditate. I believe in Jesus, Lord, Jesus, my Savior.
Yeah, I mean, I believe in Christ consciousness, but nevertheless, like if you don't believe in some sort of higher power, that you can throw your problems to, bruh, it's gonna be tough, because I hate to get back into AI, but like by the end of this year, I listen to a lot of it every day. I listen to AI leaders. By the end of this year, we're going to have fully functional AI agent software engineers, and so engineers are gone by early Q1 2026. What happened with AI agents is going to happen with humanoids. Are you familiar with humanoids? So humanoids are essentially robots. So robot deployment will happen at least by Q1 to Q2 2026. Nobody knows about what's going on. Only like the people that are in. So like, and what are the implications? Well, job losses. Oh, I mean, you should go down the list of the chaos that's about to happen. And then this is where economics, and it's kind of part of my field too, with universal basic income, UBI. And look, we are about to go through a radical change in terms of consumerism, because our GDP is made of about 65 to 70% consumer spending. Well, if consumers are unemployed, what's going to happen to our GDP? So you got all these situations that's about to unravel, that I'm not just like I'm just sitting there watching, but I'm like observing, and then I'm hearing. And that's why it's so important. I'm hearing these AI leaders say, hey guys, this is coming. Like, you got to be aware, you got to be adapted. And so that's another reason too why I'm so in it. And if you're not meditating, if you're not staying vigilant,
mentally prepared,
you know what I'm saying? If you're not even watching, they're going to come at you like a thief in the night, and all the religious sayings is going to full circle come at you, and
So other than get more involved with AI, what advice would you give like new entrepreneurs?
Man.
Other than learning, studying AI, what advice would you give them?
Yeah, I mean, look, and I'll say this, like, we're still in this journey, right? We're still early stage. Fortunately, we've had the luxury of going through accelerator programs like Access Mode Together, so we've and Hyper Accelerator, RBC. And actually even others. I was part of another pitch programs and stuff.
We've been through two accelerators together.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man! Look, two. And that's when you're in the trenches, and that's why the work that you put into, man. I see you, and that's what's up. You gotta put in that work. It's just so important. So that's exactly what I'll tell them. Like, that hustle. You can't
keep pushing, keep trying new stuff.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't train someone to hustle. It's either, I wouldn't say it's either, because now I am big in like life science, as I mentioned. So I do know humans, we could, when put in certain environments or given certain like motivations, we can become, our work ethics can increase. So we could become hardworking or whatnot, but there has to be a goal. There has to be a reason. So I would say for the young entrepreneurs, man, like this was actually part of the AI simulation that I did in the podcast when I was coming here, because I used ChatGPT to simulate this experience. So of course, I had to do it. I had to put it on the mic that that's what we do. So apart from using AI, but if just in case, use AI to do stuff like that. But I would say, like, as an entrepreneur, like you definitely have to, first of all, find what you're good at. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like there's two things. You can either find your passion, which of course that's what most entrepreneurs say. Right. Find your passion and da-da-da-da, which is super important, but also find what you're good at. So going back to the storytelling thing, I didn't even know I was good at storytelling. You know that? I just realized that I like taking pictures in events. Like, I like capturing moments, mm-hmm. and I like repurposing those moments. I didn't even know it was called storytelling. Aren't you a Libra too?
No, I'm a Gemini, man. My birthday was a few days ago.
Okay, you're a Gemini. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, like, so community networks, and so that's your passion. So I've read a lot of personal development books. And I study the hell out of myself. That's one thing.
Me too. I got plenty.
The back. So I realized that delegation is one thing that I'm good at, but also like I said, just curating information. Mm-hmm. And that I think that also falls in the line of like pattern recognition, being able to like see multiple different things, and then like draw connections between those things. And so once I realized I was good at that, then I doubled down. And then that's why I started doing the podcasting. I started doing all this stuff for Walletgyde because I was good at it. It wasn't necessarily my passion.
Yeah, so what is like success? What does success look like for you? Like, when you're successful, what is that? What are you envisioning that looking like?
I love that question because, bro, like, I've always wanted to, and this might sound whatever, but like, I've always wanted to be around circles of people that are like movers and shakers.
You said that earlier.
Right?
That's what success is.
Yeah.
Once you get in a circle, once you sit at the round table with them, you're like, I'm successful.
Well, but it's not even, for me, it's not on a like vanity standpoint. It's more of like, I wanted to be on, because this is what I wanted to do. If you remember, when I wanted to work at World Bank or the Wall Street, until unfortunately I found out how corrupt it is. So I was like, no, I don't want to do that, go that route. But I do want to be on stages where I'm talking about financial literacy, or I'm talking about human evolution, and like things that I feel like are just really important to humanity. Mm-hmm. Like, I love talking about stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So for me, so it's funny you asked me this question, because a couple of months ago, I had ChatGPT. Matter of fact, I created a new chat within ChatGPT that was just literally focused on visualization techniques. Mm-hmm. And so in that chat system, it helped me map out a whole visualization of me going to these very elite events, such as there's events that happens in Davos, and it's where all the top financial leaders go, the European Central Bank, the top financial people that I used to always listen to. I had this vision of like me, being in that, speaking with those people, like being in that room of people that are changing policies, changing laws, that I can be part of those laws that are being changed, because I know that I want those laws to be beneficial to the people, especially people that look like us. And especially being an African too, they're screwing over Africa. The ECB, the European Central Bank. I guess that was also on tape, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that is going on a monetary standpoint, monetary policy. I remember I wrote a whole excerpt, or actually even a manuscript, or it was a whole paper about our corporate governance in financial monetary policies. I used to be big into that kind of stuff as well. And I was like, bro, I want to be in those areas where I make decisions that influences people positively, and especially our community positively.
Right.
So
You're trying to make the world shake.
you said what?
You're trying to make the world shake.
Hey, if that's what that means, then yeah.
So, you know, if you lost Walletgyde, and there was no AI,
No AI.
today,
Damn, no AI. Damn.
what would you do?
If
No Walletgyde,
no
AI.
Walletgyde,
Where you
no
going?
AI.
What's your next move? You just gonna get a job?
No. I feel like nothing against jobs, by the way. Like I could be, like I was, before I jumped full into Walletgyde, I was a senior product manager at a telecom company. I was, doing the whole thing, and I just don't like the politics of it. So that's why I probably wouldn't stay long as a corporate person. But I would for sure, bro. I have a book that has like ideas, like, and I'm sure so I have
I got one of those.
I figured
black book, idea book.
It's a notebook and it has all these different ideas. So I got, whether it's even widgets, hard devices, or software devices. Yeah. I'm sure I'll come up with something new. Yeah, and just continue you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so important. So that's probably what I'll do.
Nice. Yeah. So, I think that's all the questions, bro.
Awesome.
So now I just need you to tell everybody, like, where can they find you?
For sure.
You can go ahead. We're talking here anyway.
Okay.
Tell these people where they can find you. And, if you got social media, email, if you want to give that, whatever you want to give.
Yeah. No, well, first of all, look, appreciate you having me, right, on this podcast, because it's just so important to do what we're doing, right? And even that in itself is important and big, collaborating, supporting each other, and doing stuff like that. Like, I feel like sometimes us entrepreneurs, we can get very individualistic, which is almost part of our nature sometimes, right? We're like, I gotta do this alone, but there is a huge community, right, out there. And the more we do stuff like this, work together and collaborate and support each other, is just so important to continue to uplift the entrepreneurship community. So I definitely wanted to say that. And then, look, I'm not hard to find. I'll be on social. You can find us or me at Walletgyde on Instagram, YouTube. Now we're actually going big on YouTube Shorts. And then we also recently just got a TikTok account, so we're going big on TikTok as well. So you can find us there. Facebook is, we're doing some work there, or rebuilding our website or our account there. But yeah, you can find us on all the key channels.
That's dope. So what about your address?
You want my social too?
Anyway, it was good.
Hey, look, my God.